Um, I was watching some. See, you watch. You got to be careful of the content you watch. But I think I'm watching good content. It's quite uplifting, empowerment, motivational, and I think the tarot thing's just for a bit of entertainment. You can't take that too. I think you'll be seriously mental if you take that seriously. But I think the guy that was just watching it, because I didn't have an original thought in my head, right? I'm just taking off what he said. I think there's a lot of truth in what he's saying, right? He goes, "Hey, ain't it true, man? Ain't it true? Why is it your family is your biggest enemies? Why your family never want to support you and what you're doing? Why does your family why is it that your family's your biggest enemy? Like why I think I've obviously explored this theme various ways in some of my content. Why can't your family support you? They send their little kiddies to dance classes and they've got, it's like they've always got some other, some other activity to go to, don't they? But then when it comes to someone like me, they won't support it. And what's hilarious is I've been successful at it already, and yet they still want to go against me. It's like they can I'm doing some of this shit. It doesn't mean I'm trying to be like have 10,000 followers on my YouTube channel and everything, right? But isn't it funny? This kind of patronising thing of, instead of like being supportive and saying, "Oh, well done, for doing X, Y, Z. That was really quite amazing." Now push it on, Dave. Push it on. You get more support from fucking strangers. Your soul family that you haven't met yet. Friends are just people that you haven't met. Yeah. How crazy is that? I know it's like sibling rivalry and everything, but that's a bit ridiculous, isn't it? When you get to middle age, that shit should have gone. I put that shit. I was never like that. It's pathetic, isn't it? Some folk are like, they've got this attitude of petty competition. How fucking unenlightened is that? How unenlightened is that? It's like, if I could just quote Joe Rogan, just plucking that out there, when he's talking about the comedians, right? He's talking about, I'm not a comedian. I'm not trying to be a fucking stand-up comedian, right? But, like, he's like, better. We're supposed to be in support, or didn't it be negative? But didn't it be? Why would you go against someone? It's like, imagine saying to somebody, "I don't agree with you doing that for a profession. I don't agree with you wasting your time being a social worker, being a teacher, being a lawyer, but somehow when you do all this mad shit in the arts, it's looked down upon." It's really quite funny. I've said this shit before, but I just thought it was funny. I was watching that guy. Law of diminishing returns. I think I've gone live a bit too many times, but it doesn't, because who cares? It's just for me and amusement. But I think the guy raised a few good points. I mean, it's quite. Isn't it ridiculous that you get more support for colleagues, strangers, people at the garage? I've had more support. Let's break this down. Let's just break that down. I've had more support, right, for me and my endeavours, whether it's athletic or other stuff. I've had more support from fucking strangers in the garage. I go into the garage with my own fucking sister. I was at the garage, right, the other day. Hadn't been in there for ages, right? I'm just plucking whatever comes to mind, right, with this, what I'm talking about, right? I was in the garage, local Tesco garage, and I went in there, right? And obviously I've finished many a euphoric bike run in the garage there in my lady gear, and hey, how's it going, and then euphoric high, and just spread the joy when I'm feeling it, and just have a laugh and talk to folk, and if I can just quote Frank Gilhooly, he was like, one of the pointers he had said at his life coaching / acting workshops, and he's like, I start talking to folk at the garage, and I'm like, well, it's not really a contrived thing. It's like, I just feel the need to do it. Talk to folk, it's normal, is it? No, being sociable. And you get more love, joy, and appreciation talking small talk with some fucking stranger at the garage than you get for your own fucking sister. Is that no fucking a sad indictment on them? I was in Tesco garage the other day, right? And I was like, And I didn't even have to say it. I just walked in there in my civvies, so to speak, you know. And I went in there, and the woman behind the counter was like, "Oh, how you doing? Oh, you're not cycling today?" Or, you know, asking about training and all that. Oh, there's a surprise. You give it out and you get it back, you know. You know. And just taking that further, what this guy was saying, this YouTube video, your family are the people that are your biggest enemies, that are like, don't, you know, like, take a step back and you go, I mean, I question my own behaviour sometimes, but you go, walking on a wall like a child playing in the street, right? Walking on a wall is like a criminal act, is an offensive act. It's like doing the kind of performance stuff. It's like, I was talking to my mum, like, that's, she, you know, she might as well have phoned the police on me. Maybe that's the next step. It's one stage away from phoning the police, wasn't it? Walking on the wall, kind of doing gymnast poses and stuff, and she thinks that's offensive. She thinks that's me going, fuck you. Projection, hashtag. And the context of, and I was having this whole discussion, and why, this is the point, why should you even have to have these discussions? Why don't folk understand you to begin with? It's hilarious, right? But I was talking to my mother about this, and we're having this big long discussion. I was saying, maybe Dave acts like this because maybe that's some of the stuff he's involved in. Involves this kind of like physical act, you know, acting, physical, you know, stuff. Maybe that's what he does. How many fucking years has she had to catch up with the fact that that's what I've been doing? And a date in real life, and it's like a crime. It's fucking wicked. Folk coming against you for like living your life by whatever, enjoying yourself. It's funny. It's funny. But as I say, the context was of me doing this kind of stuff. It's like air drumming in the park and all this other stuff, is because it's like, well, I felt the need to do it. And it was on the eve of, I was going down to some of these I was going down to London a few times to do some of these film things, you know, putting on a funny costume and standing in a doorway, that kind of thing. I'm a grade A stander in a doorway now, by the way, you know that. I've really taken that shit to the next level. You can. I'm really quite good at that, but you know, just kind of preparing for the army again, and it was really quite funny. It's like, so why wouldn't folk accept you for who you are? Like, see, what's really fucking funny, I'll just finish with this, right? My Uncle Norman, it was like in his late 60s, I saw him a few years ago playing. He was a guitarist, singer guy, and he's always done that. He's always, you know, and I saw him and I was blown away, and he was like pushing 70, and I was quite blown away by the effort he put in and stuff, and he's died the other week, and I'm like, do folk not wake up and realise what's fucking important in life, right? So this whole creative spark is within the family. We're all kind of like this. We're all arty, farty, creative, music, athletics, you know, sport, art. Even my cousin was in a BAFTA winning short film, stuff like that. We've all done this shit, right? And Norman's died recently, and I'm going, and they were reflecting on his life and all that, and I'm going, well, the thing that I reflect on when he's dead is like, you know, should we not be? That's what my input. And I said this to my mum. I said that's what my feeling is. We should be celebrating the fucking fact that Norman's still kicking ass doing his performing thing, or was, you know, and doing it well at such an old age. And yet when it comes to me doing my performance stuff, it's fucking shat on, you know. Walking on a wall is a crime, apparently. So it's quite funny. Family can be your biggest enemies. Like, you know what I mean? After doing all this extracurricular shit, and you still get bullshit for it, you know? Quite funny, isn't it? It's a kind of paradox, isn't it? Like maybe does it spill out into real life because I just do it because I want to do it for a laugh, but when I'm doing it, am I doing it because I'm not getting any kind of interest in the stuff I'm doing, so I'm like, right, well, or is it, you know what I mean? So aye, that's my reading on it. Aye. When it comes to family, like, for fucking years I've felt like didn't care what family member is in the room. I'm like constantly feeling like the fucking outsider, and this is your fucking blood family, and they want to put you down and downgrade anything that you do, not appreciate any of your creative exploits. So Norman's dead, so I decide today this shit, and no one's got to stop me doing it. So I'm not going to be relying on family to uplift me, you know. I get more upliftment for my fucking self and certain other folk again, and certain fucking strangers at the garage. Can you know what I mean? Like, that's it, aye.